What is up, everyone? Welcome to 5 Things We Learned from Gameweek 11. My name is Ryan, and welcome to the Football Chatbox. We're going to be looking into what we've taken so far from Gameweek 11 and see whether we can apply it to Gameweek 12 and the weeks going ahead. If you're new, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and let's get into the video. All right, in number 1, we've got one of those game weeks. Yep, it was one of those game weeks, and I'm not even added on the screen. You got Salah, Captaincy as well, who failed. You've got the likes of Saka, who really didn't do anything, but again, it was Newcastle, maybe tough game you could say. You've got Watkins fail, Cash fail, Gabriel, maybe again Newcastle, unlucky. Got people with Flecken, that's also a disaster. Got Simicas, who got benched. Darwin, oh my god, we'll get to Darwin later in another slide. Haaland going off at the 45th at halftime, getting subbed off for an ankle injury. Matty Cash getting subbed off for a shoulder injury and obviously conceding 2 goals as well. I mean, let me know, does your bench have more points than your starting 11? Because I've seen some teams out there with their benches with... I've got Lascelles on my bench, 9-pointer sitting on my bench, right? But I've seen people with Lascelles or or Shah, or people with Kabore, Archer, all on their bench. Let me know in the comments what you think. And then again, added to this, Ariola, 1-pointer. He's someone we kind of need to think about in terms of do we keep him or do we sell him? That's another thing. But yeah, it's just one of those game weeks. You just take it on. It is what it is, and you kind of move forward, see what we can take from this game week. But I think there is a few things that we need to talk about. So let's actually go into number 2. But before that, take it easy. It is a tough game week. Move forward. Stuff like this happens, but it's not the end of the world. Let's go into number 2, which is sell or keep Haaland. Now, this is a bit of a tougher one to answer because I think there is a case to be made whether you sell or keep Haaland. Now, the next 4 game weeks, they've got Chelsea away, Liverpool at home, Spurs at home, and then Villa away. Now, I think the Villa fixture will be good, but I just think the next 3 fixtures, there is kind of a case to be made whether you sell him, especially if you have... Now, me personally, my squad, I've got Watkins and Haaland. And based off how Watkins has been performing in the last 2 game weeks, I have no problem in getting rid of Watkins after the Bournemouth game in game week 14. Right? And that's basically in 3 game weeks. That kind of frees up the funds for me to go back if I wanted. Like if I was to sell Haaland this week, maybe for an Nketiah, if I don't have an Arsenal striker, or I want like Arsenal doubles attack against Burnley, even though Arsenal haven't been playing that well attacking wise. Still against Burnley is a good fixture. So if I wanted something like that, right, I could go Haaland to an Nketiah if I wanted to, and do Watkins to Haaland later in, like after game week 14, where Haaland, and get Haaland in for game week 15 when they are about to play Villa, because it's a really good fixture attacking wise. And then they go on Luton Palace, so they've got a good run from there. So maybe I could do something like that, right? I think it is a case to be made. Also, especially like a lot of people will be having 2 free transfers this week. You could potentially use those 2 free transfers where one maybe, again, we had to wait and see what happens with the ankle injury as well, right? We don't know whether Pep is going to say he's out for the Champions League but we are available for Chelsea, or whether he's going to be out completely for this week. That's something else to monitor as well. But if he is out, then it's an easy sell. If he's not out, there is maybe a case to be made where you could use 1 transfer on that. And the second one, if you want, you could upgrade your midfield somewhere, or you could also roll it to next week and then upgrade your midfield. Like get maybe Heung-min Son if you sold him, right? If you sold Son, you can get Son in this week. And I think Son next week is a really good captaincy choice for, again, the game week 13 fixture against Villa. That's a really good captaincy choice for Son because Villa play a high line. So you could do stuff like that. I think there's a case to be made. Let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, sell or keep Haaland. That's number 2. Let me know what you think with regards to all of that. And let's move in to number 3, Doku masterclass. Now, obviously, Doku basically, I mean, was he involved in every single goal that was possible? Oh, no, Bob. Bob was there in one of those goals. But he was basically involved in every single goal that you could think of. Apart from one goal, he was involved in everything else. Now, the thing with Doku, just like the case with Haaland, where they've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs coming up, 3 tough fixtures. Is he a trap ahead of a 22-pointer that he just put on? Is he a trap for a lot of people that are looking to get him? He's gone and got how many points? How many transfers in so far at the time of recording? He's got 182k people, 182,000 people managers have signed Doku. Now, if you look at the games he's missed minutes, the game against United, the game against Arsenal, he missed minutes. He didn't start in those 2 games. Now, I'm wondering whether that means, again, this is speculation, maybe there's a case to be made. Is Pep going to play Doku in those big games, or does Pep prefer someone who will hold the ball a bit more, who will bring more control into that midfield against some of the bigger teams, which is where you see the likes of a Grealish play, you see the likes of a Bernardo. Now, Bernardo did play. Did Bernardo start this week? Bernardo, no, he didn't start. Oh no, he did start this week. But Grealish didn't start. So that's where I'm wondering whether they all combine and would they play in those upcoming bigger games. I think if you see Doku starting in the Champions League as well, right? And if he plays a full 90, then I don't think he'll start against Chelsea and Liverpool. We'll have to see. I don't know. I think there will be a different midfield potentially. So I'm not really sure. I think this is similar to the Nketiah one, where if you bought Nketiah this week after his recent haul, it was kind of like points chasing because against Newcastle it was always going to be a tough game. Could this be the same case against Chelsea and Liverpool? I mean, Chelsea did lose the last game, and they're yet to play Spurs, so I don't know what Chelsea will turn up. But they're not that bad defensively. Now, having said that, they could get hammered. They could get hammered by Spurs, but that's one thing I'm wondering. Is he a trap? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's number 3. Let's move in to number 4. XG Nunes. In my rank, Salah gets me points, right? Even if I didn't captain him, he gets me points. Oh my god, the amount of chances that was created for Darwin Nunes. Even Salah set it on a plate for Nunes and he still missed, man. Darwin Nunes. This guy, I don't know, man. He's like a huge XG. He's an XG problem in terms of Nunes. He just hogs all the chances, but he's just not clinical. He's not clinical enough. If he has too much time to think, he just messes it up. Like the goal you saw last week where Szoboszlai just cut it into him. It was just whipped into him. Darwin Nunes didn't really have to do anything. He just stood there and the ball deflected off him, basically. Right? If this guy has too much time to think, it's a problem. Because he just fumbles it at the moment. So I don't know. Because of that, I'm wondering, is he actually someone worth having in our teams? Because this kind of shows why people don't have him in the team. He's just going to hog XG, but he's not a clinical finisher. Now, Diaz came in, scored the winning goal, scored the goal to level the game as well. He could potentially start next week. I think Jota is probably a better fit for the Liverpool team in the number 9 spot. So the question is, will Nunes actually continue to play or continue to start? I don't think so. Like if he keeps putting in performances like this, the amount of chances he got and he didn't finish, right? I think they will probably try someone else in the next game. Now, the next game that they are playing, Liverpool, is against Brentford. And we'll talk about captaincy in the final point. But do you think Darwin Nunes will potentially play that game? I don't know. I highly doubt it. But yeah, that's number 4. And let's talk into the final point, which is number 5. Go into interesting week for captaincy. Now, I think peak already shown there. But Salah is probably this week's captaincy favorite because he's playing at home over Haaland injury status that we don't know with regards to City playing Chelsea. I think Salah is the favorite, but I think there are also cases to be made for some other captains because I don't think Brentford is going to make it as easy for Liverpool, right? And that means there are a few other captains who could potentially step up. Where is for Trippier, obviously playing away, so it's not as great. But against Bournemouth, right? If we've already seen Trippier keep a clean sheet against Arsenal, racked up three bonus points. Even Gordon with a goal-winning goal just couldn't get 3 bonus points, even though it was close between all of them. He could be a decent captaincy option. Along with him, you could get the other Newcastle players as well. We already seen City put so much past Bournemouth. Maybe Callum Wilson could be another good option as well for captaincy. Away from Newcastle, Saka maybe, but hasn't looked great. Arsenal do play a good fixture against Burnley. So if Saka hasn't looked great, do you want a wild punt on Nketiah as a captaincy option? If not him, and even slightly wilder punt, for those who still have Bruno Fernandes against Luton. Now, United haven't looked great, but this guy will get in on the returns, I think. I think at the moment, the attack isn't ticking, but the midfield is getting the returns mostly. So I think Bruno, if you want, is another wild punt for captaincy this week. He's also a decent option. I won't go for the early kickoff in Spurs, probably not. But the other players that I mentioned could be decent captaincy options. Villa against Fulham, I probably won't go there as a Watkins owner for captaincy. But the other ones that I mentioned, what do you think? It's an interesting week for captaincy, especially if Haaland is out. If Haaland is fit, and given that I mentioned that will Doku actually play in these games where maybe Pep might want a bit of control, then that kind of suits the narrative of more creators on the pitch, like the likes of a Jack Grealish, the likes of a Bernardo, the likes of a Stones, all on the pitch, right? Because Stones didn't play this. Did he play last game? Did he play the Bournemouth game? I don't even remember now. Yeah, Stones did play. But the what do you call? There was no Jack Grealish on the pitch as well. And it was a slightly different formation from City as well. So this is why I'm wondering, will that maybe help Haaland if he's fit? So yeah, interesting week for captaincy. Let me know what you think about it. But yeah, that's basically it. 5 things we learned from Gameweek 11. Quite a lot of questions to be answered. And let me know, do you sell or keep Haaland? And is Doku a trap? But if you reached to the end of the video, thank you all for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. And yeah, we will be live tomorrow for a team selection video. And then on Wednesday, we've got the podcast with a special guest as well. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. On the road to 600 subscribers. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you all later.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us.